Hi, welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host, and I started my first Christian coaching business in 2012, had only one paying client and went out of business. 3 years later in 2015, I tried again. I had 3 paying clients and went out of business. 3 years after that in 2018, on my third attempt to launch this business, I did over $250,000 in revenue the first year. I've now worked with over 1,000 Christian coaches, helping them build their businesses. And I learned how to sell, market, design offers, and build a business with integrity that was also effective and could really work. All the glory to God on this, no question about it. And there were some strategies I learned from mentors and experiences between that second and third attempt that made all of the difference. That's what this podcast is about, teaching you those strategies so that you can build your dream business and fulfill God's calling for your mission, your business, and your life. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about making it easy. Here's one of the things I know. I like things that feel easy. And I'm not ashamed of that. I understand that some of you listeners, you're really hard workers. My dad is an exceptionally hard worker. It's one of the things that I'm like so proud of him, the way he's provided for us throughout my life, the way he's worked so hard. He's been in construction and manual labor jobs, and he's always worked early to late and lots of hours and never really complained. Went in when it was hot, went in when it was cold, went in when he was sick. A very, very hard worker, and he provided that way for us. And there have been many times in my life where I've worked really hard, including in this business, and I'm proud of that, and I'm grateful that he gave me that example. The other thing I know about myself, though, is that I like when there's less resistance and greater amounts of ease. I like when something feels fun and light and easy. And oftentimes it's easier for me to make big decisions when something feels easy, when it feels light, when it feels fun. And I think about this in terms of sales all the time. If you've been around me, you've heard me say the phrase, sales to me is just making it as easy as possible for the right people to say yes. That's what my goal is. I'm not trying to make a sale. I'm not trying to force people to say yes. But I want to make it as easy as possible for the right people to say yes. I feel like that's my goal. As an influencer, as a salesperson, as a leader, make it as easy as possible for people to say yes to the thing that's going to help them become more of who God created them to become and or get more of what they want in their lives. And so that's how I approach sales. How can I make it easy? And so I want to make sure that when I make an offer, this isn't to say that I have a low price, but the value of the offer is so high that it feels easy. And even when it feels scary, my way of showing up with the offer, even with a $10,000 or a $15,000 offer, we've sold for some of our clients 20, 30, 50, even I've closed $100,000+ coaching offer for one of our clients who hired us to sell for them. When I was in that sales call making that $110,000 offer, I didn't have a lot of buildup. I didn't make it sound like a big deal. I made it sound easy. And I made it sound like the right choice because it was for that person. Now you have to understand it's a specific kind of person who could say yes to the $110,000 offer. That wouldn't be easy for many of you, and I wouldn't make it sound easy for you if it wasn't. But for the right person, I'm just not making a big deal about it. It's not a big production. I'm not over-explaining my offers. I'm simply sharing the details, sharing what I see, speaking my confidence and encouragement over this deal between me and the other person if it feels like a fit, like I really think this is a good program for you. And I think it's going to help you achieve this goal. And it's only at $110K. Or I probably wouldn't say only on the 110, right? I'm probably saying only when I'm talking about sales school. Our sales school program is now only $375 a month. It's a really great deal. And you can hear the ease in that. With the 110K, I'm probably like, this is a big investment. It's 110K. It's not for everyone. And based on where you're at in your business and what your goals are, I feel like it's a really great fit for you. What kinds of thoughts and questions do you have about the offer? And you can hear and feel, hopefully, the peace and the ease. And that's, there's a few different things I try to bring to every sales call, speaking engagement, training, et cetera, that I do. And One of those things is peace. Because I know if I bring a peaceful energy to the call, I'm going to create an environment that feels safe, that feels peaceful, that feels easy, that embraces big decisions. If I show up in the call with a lot of anxiety or fear, or I need the sale too much, or I'm like, stressed out about the commission, or I'm nervous about my price or my offer, I'm not going to create an environment that feels very easy. Now, I understand, speaking of easy, it's easier said than done to bring peace to a sales conversation when you haven't had a lot of them. And when it does feel scary to say your offer out loud, when your business is new, it's harder to bring peace, which is why we need to pray for it. We need to have a pre-call ritual where you get yourself in state before you begin the sales call, where you pray, you breathe, you meditate, you visualize, you think about feeling peaceful. Maybe you play a favorite song. Maybe you take some deep breaths. Whatever it is that works for you, you have to design that pre-call ritual, but you've got time to get yourself feeling good and feeling peaceful before you begin the sales conversation. And then throughout the conversation, if you want to bring more peace, you want to bring more ease, you might just slow down a little bit, including when you make your offer. You might just bring your volume down a little bit. You might soften your tone just a little bit. And when you do these things, it can feel more peaceful for the people that you're with. And when you feel peace in your own heart, that's going to translate to them too. And it's going to make things easy. The other thing that I think is important that can make things feel easy for our prospects is, of course, to have the right sales conversation where we ask the right questions, where we help people get clear on where they're at and what they want, what problems stand in the way, and how committed they are to solving those problems. And if we have the right conversation throughout the first 9 steps of our 10-step sales process, in that closing step of the process and handling objections, it's going to feel easy if we've done really great work leading up to that point. There shouldn't be a lot of resistance or press or pressure at the end of a sales conversation if we've done a good job leading up to that moment. And the other thing I mentioned before, I'm just going to say one more time, is let's not over-explain our offer. Let's not over-explain the price. When we tell the price, then we want to ask if they want to buy, or we want to invite questions and concerns and objections. Either way, it's time for us to get quiet. Sharing the price, sharing the details, asking a question, and then listening creates peace. So that's only $7,500 for the 6 months. Is this something that you'd like to do? And then we wait. We don't explain. There's not, the price is already justified in the details of the offer that we shared before the price, in the value that you can bring. And then we just wait. Or if it's a bigger offer, sometimes I like to say, and that's going to be $12,000. We've got a couple different ways you can pay for that. What kinds of thoughts or questions do you have about the offer? That's the other way I might ask. What kinds of thoughts or questions do you have about the offer? So when I made that $110,000 offer, I may not have initially said, is this something you want to do? I probably said, and that's $110,000. It's not for everyone. I do feel like it's a really good fit for you though. What kinds of thoughts or questions are coming up for you about this offer? And you can feel the peace. You can feel the invitation and the ease in this. That's what I want you to create for your prospects and clients as well. And first for yourself. Let's find a way to make things feel light and fun and easy. That's going to support you in sales and building your business and in life. That doesn't mean that we're not going to work hard. You're going to have hard work for sure. And wherever we can create ease, we should. God bless you all. Have an amazing rest of your day. By the way, if you want that 10-step sales process, if you don't have it yet, go to goodsalespdf.com, and grab a free copy of our 10-step sales process that you can use with your prospects and on your sales calls. goodsalespdf.com. God bless you. See you next time.